Hang on at all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2015 to 2030. Sorry, 2022 2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, India's G20 presidency, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today is commemorated as International Bat Night. Oh, you may be wondering that we are commemorating various days, but today this is a little bit different from commemoration of days to International Bat Night. And International Bat Night is observed on the last full weekend of August every year. And this event is observed in the United States of America and Europe mainly. However, 30 countries have come together to spread the awareness on bats and their habitats and bust some myths. Several nature conservation agencies and NGOs, especially in Europe, work towards imparting knowledge on the public of the lifestyle and habits of bats via different mediums such as presentations, exhibitions, seminars, webinars, and bat talks. So International Bat Night is observed by around 30 countries to bring the light the need for preserving this nocturnal species. International Bat Night started in 1997 as a way to inform the public about the needs and benefits of bats in nature. This annual observance helps to promote the good image of bats and busting some myths and providing clarity on them. It is imperative that we know more about bats as there are over 1,000, around 1,400 plus species of bats which are known to us across the world. Bats are the second largest order of mammals after rodents and make up about 20% of all classified mammals in the world. These creatures can be found on nearly every part of the planet, apart from extreme deserts and polar regions. Humans are often afraid of bats due to general misconception that they are harmful. While they do have potential to spread rabies, not all bats are out there to attack you. Yes, bats do feed on blood, but mostly they feed on insects. And it's a good thing as it helps to keep the insect population in check and maintains the balance in nature. Bats are even popular in pop culture. Some portray them as dark and scary, while others portray them as a fun creatures. The most popular and favored presentation of bats that remain significant in the superhero is the Batman, the comics and the movies based on the character that has helped to put bats in a positive light to a certain extent in the minds of many. Carl Linnaeus classifies the 7 bat species he knows of in the order of primates in 1758. John Friedrich Blumben's new classification, German John naturalist Johann Friedrich Blumbenbach gives bats their own order, Chiroptera. And the discovery of an early fossil bat from the 52 million year old Green River Formation indicates that the flight evolved before echolocation in bats. So this was in 2003, and paleontologist Kevin Padian and Kenneth Dahl present research that some of the earliest bats had hindlings that flex to the side. In 2013, now bats are nocturnal and hence they must possess the necessary skills to see at night. They use echolocation, which means they make noises and wait for the sound waves to bounce back objects as an echo. This helps them to hunt for insects at night. The bats are known to be sensitive to light while hunting at night. Bats generally get attracted to the artificial light only because insects tend to flock to them. However, by themselves, they would avoid artificial light. Surprisingly enough, these flying mammals end up spending nearly 20 hours of every day asleep. So most of the time they are sleeping. On International Bat Night, you can visit a local bat conservatory if you have one, or visit online conservatories, and they often have bat walks or informational sessions lined up. You can attend one of these and gain knowledge of these creatures like one you are attending now. And International Bat Night can be a great motivator to visit the natural habitat of bats. Spend the night campaigning there, observing the stars and simply looking out for bats. Ensure you do not cause obstruction to their routine and keep at a safe distance. There are so many species of bats and so much to know about them. You can spread International Bat Night, reading about these flying mammals and then sharing knowledge you gain with others. And bats can live more than 30 years and is the life expectancy rate. Bats can easily eat up to 1,200 mosquitoes an hour, so it can prevent a lot of mosquito-borne, illness and diseases, and keep mosquitoes in control. Baby bats are called pups, and most bats end up having only one pup a year. The world's smallest bat is smaller than a thumbnail and weighs less than a penny. The world's largest bat is the flying fox, which has a wingspan of up to 6 feet and lives on islands in the South Pacific. Bats play a pivotal role in maintaining a balance in the nature. They eat insects that could potentially spread diseases or harm others, or damage crops, or wreak havoc. Furthermore, bats even help in dispersing seeds through their feces. One of the major factors involved in reforestation of tropical forests is the spread of guaianas seeds through these bats. Bats are some of the most misunderstood species owing to their typical representation in pop culture. People think of bats as all things dark and creepy. However, they are mostly harmless to people. In reality, only 3 of the 1,000 plus species are actually bloodsuckers. Bats are active at night and is essentially they have excellent vision to see. They do have better vision in the day and night than most humans. They emit a high-pitched sound that bounces off objects around them and helps them to pinpoint the exact location of insects. So this year, it is the 27th International Bat Night, which is commemorated on 26th and as well as 27th August 2020. So the International Bat Night, nature conservation agencies and NGOs from across Europe pass on information to the public about the way bats live and their needs, and presentations, exhibitions, bats walk, often offering the opportunity to listen to bat sounds with the support of ultrasound technology. The general date is set for the last full weekend in August. However, local organizers sometimes choose other dates if they are more convenient. Just a second, we'll wait. As we have seen, bats can be as large as a small dog or as small as a bee. The largest bats are flying foxes with wingspans of up to 2 meters and a body weight of up to 1.5 kilograms. At the other end of the scale is the bumblebee bat, weighing only 2 grams, the world's smallest mammal, and the bats are closely related to humans than they are to mice. Bats in UK eat only insects, but bats elsewhere also dine on frogs, fruits, other bats, nectar from flowers, blood, pollen, and fish. Some bats use echolocation to navigate and hunt, while others rely on smell and vision to find food. Bats are found almost everywhere in the world. There are bats in far north of Scandinavia, as well as in the deserts of southwestern USA. The only places on Earth with no bats are the Arctic and Antarctic, and few isolated oceanic islands. The tropics have the biggest variety of bat species. Indonesia has 175 species of bats, about 10 times the number of species found in UK. Central and Southern America are home to almost 1/3 of the world's bat species. In some parts of the world, bats are revered. In China, they are considered symbols of good fortune, but in many places, bats are feared and misunderstood, and in many countries, they are protected despite falling bat numbers. Globally, bats face in many pressures. This can be specifically true on islands where they have content with cyclones and typhoons that can devastate their habitat. Even in the UK, bats might be affected by long bouts of cold, wet, windy weather. Such weather means there are fewer insects flying for bats to feed on, and it can make hunting for insects more difficult. So habitat loss, hunting, changing climate, and a deadly fungus all have an impact on the bat populations in the world. Bats survive in some extreme environments, and others have unique adaptations for hunting and roasting. The tube-lipped nectar bat of Ecuador has an extraordinary long tongue, more than 1.5 times the length of its body, so that it can reach the nectar at the bottom of long tubular flowers. The bat stores its tongue in its special sleeve in its chest cavity. Scaly anteater do the same thing. Anteaters. The eastern suckerfoot bat has the suction pads on its wrists and ankles, which allow it to roost head up in the very smooth and shiny central leaf of the traveler's tree in Madagascar, and horseshoe bats that have wonderful ears and elaborate facial feature, especially adapted for the unique form of echolocation. Bats truly are amazing creatures. Sadly, many bat species around the world are vulnerable or endangered due to loss of habitat, food, or roost, plus pollination, disease, hunting, and killing. British bat population suffered huge declines last century. The research and monitoring of 11 of UK's 17 breeding bat species has shown that the majority of British bat species are now stable or recovering slowly. But there is too little data on some risk bat species. We need more research, strong enforced laws, good land management, and education, ensuring bats thrive as a vital part of the national heritage. So bats face various problems like habitat loss, building and development work, including construction, deforestation, and urbanization, rapid industrialization, and cat attacks and lighting and roads, especially wind farms, wind turbines, and white nose syndrome, and various other threats. Bats and fishermen both enjoy the dusk, and occasionally they may have an inadvertent close encounter. So we give more information about bats aimed at anglers and explain what to do if you catch one while fishing. So there you are at the beginning of the angling season, putting on your first team of flies and practicing your new casting techniques. When no sooner do you cast out than you get a bite. All the hard work has paid off in the instant. However, you notice that the line is moving strangely. So you start to reel in gaze towards the end of the line and realize that what you got is a bat. So anglers often get in contact with to convey the tales of bats seen swarming around the bridges and creeks. So crawling on river banks or getting caught on the line, albeit accidentally, Daubenton's bats in particular are frequently seen skimming in the surface of rivers, ponds, or other water bodies at dusk. Daubenton's bats takes insects, particularly chronomidges and many mayflies from close to the water surface. They are medium-sized bats, around 45 to 55 millimeters long, with a 240 to 275 millimeter wingspan and weighing about 7 to 12 grams, with a steady flight pattern, flying at approximately 25 kilometers per hour, often with a few centimeters of the water surface and reminiscent of small hovercraft. They have been seen taking prey directly from the water surface using their larger feet as a graph or their tail membrane as a scoop. They usually feed within 6 kilometers of the roost, but have been recorded following canals for up to 10 kilometers. Their old name of water bat is quite appropriate, though they often travel across land and occasionally feed away from water. All bats are able to fly and feed in the dark by producing a stream of high-frequency calls and listening to the returning echoes, which give a distinct sound picture of their surroundings. This is called echolocation. The sounds bats produce can normally only be heard by humans through use of high-frequency equipment such as electronic battery detection. Despite the amazing ability to fly in the dark and catch tiny insects moving amongst the branches and leaves, bats occasionally mistake artificial fishing flies for the real thing. Often, it's a wingtip of the tail membrane that gets caught as you are casting. But occasionally, bats are hooked in the mouth. So, then what you do next? First of all, don't panic. While they are a small risk that bats may carry rabies, they are simple steps to take to protect yourself from rabies. If possible, try to land the bat on the riverbank where it may be able to free itself from the line. Do not allow the hooked bat to continue flying around on the end of the line for longer than it is necessary, and if it does not free itself within 2 to 3 minutes, you may wish to cut the line close to the fly. Do not try to remove hook yourself, as you may inadvertently cause more harm. Do not touch the bat with bare hands. A small proportion of bats in the UK carry a type of rabies virus, which can be transmitted through a bite or scratch or through contact between its saliva and an open wound of the mucous membranes of your eye, nose, or mouth. If you need to handle the bat alive or dead, wear protective gloves or wrap as much as of bat as possible in a cloth, especially the head and the mouth. If you think you may have been bitten or scratched by a bat, wash the wound immediately and thoroughly, preferably with soap and water and without scrubbing, and speak to your doctor as soon as you can. Effective post exposure vaccination is available, so no need to worry. At this stage or any time, if you are unsure what to do, you can also contact National Bat Helpline in UK and other countries, if there is one. Traditionally, bats are classified into two major groups, Megachiropetra and megabat or megabat, something called as fruit bats or flying foxes, and Microchiropetra, Chiropetra or microbats. These names already a bit misleading because some megabats were small and some microbats were big families of bats were classified as microbats if they use true echolocation with calls produced from their larynx or voice box to navigate or hunt. Other families were classified as megabats. It was thought that microbats evolved to echolate while megabats did not. But recent research suggests a more complex picture. Studies of genetics have identified different relationships between some families of bats. For example, the horseshoe bat family that are insect eating and tend to be small bats are generally more closely related to the families of fruit bats we previously called megabats than they are those families we call microbats. The subdivision of bats into Megachiroptera and Microchiroptera is therefore no longer appropriate. There are two alternative proposals for the new groupings of families of bats, that is Chiropetra and Young Chiroptera and Vesper Tiloniforms and Tetopodiforms. Currently, researchers do not all agree with which is correct and both set of names. Some scientists now also believe that the echolocation was used by a common ancestor of all bats that exist in the world. Echolocation might have been lost in the megabats only to re-evolve in some of these species, including greater horseshoes bats and lesser horseshoe bats, which live in UK. So basically, it's all, a kind of classification which is more popular on echolocation. Today, we are also commemorating National Cherry Popsicle Day. So this hardly anything better than a sweet and juicy popsicle to help you cool down during a sweltering summer. The cherry popsicle seems like a joyous representation of summer fun. So indulge your inner child and enjoy a cherry popsicle on National Cherry Popsicle Day. Any frozen fruit juice served on a stick can be a popsicle. So today, many different brands across the globe sell the frozen treats in a variety of flavors. And of course, they can be made at home too. So the credit for the invention of this delicious treat goes to an 11-year-old boy in the Francis William Epperson, who was preparing a soda pop out of his porch during a cold winter months. He was making soda pop by mixing soda powder with the water. As is likely of any 11-year-old, he absent-mindedly forgot the drink on the porch and went inside. The concoction froze overnight, and the next day he found the drink, albeit frozen, with a stirring stick in it, and that's how the popsicle was born. So this remained a private invention until 18 years later, when the rest of the world would be introduced to this delicious treat. The boy took it upon himself to introduce the frozen pop on a stick at an amusement park called Neptune Beach in Belmar, New Jersey. It was so successful that he immediately applied for a patent, and the treat was named Popsicle at the urging of his children. Until then, the popsicle was being sold as Epsicle Ice Pop. As they say, the rest is history, and today popsicles have become synonymous with summers and happy childhood memories. Even though popsicle is a copyright term, almost all of us use it to describe any frozen treat. In fact, popsicles regularly feature in song lyrics, dialogues, in movies and books without us even realizing that it falls under the copyright. It is interesting how this humble treat continues to be full of surprises. Francis Epperson introduces the creation at a fireman's ball, and it's a raging success. And the popsicle goes public in 1922. Epperson sells the rights to Jolo Company of New York in 1925. Fudgesicle, a flat frozen dessert covered with chocolate, is introduced in 1938. Unilever buys the rights to popsicle and it takes over in 1989. So the popsicle makes annual sales of over 2 billion, and its best flavor is cherry. There are only 40 calories in a single cherry popsicle. So grew to Jan Arden's 2000 hit Cherry Popsicle on National Cherry Popsicle Day. You could even post a video of you singing the song or audio in social media or live. No better way to celebrate National Cherry Popsicle Day by treating yourself these delicious frozen treats. Chill by the pool and enjoy your popsicles. And also do not forget to invite your friends and neighbors to join the party or share popsicles with them. You could also make your own popsicles using fresh fruits or different flavors of soda. Mix and match flavors or try a flavor that you haven't before. We have been eating cherries since the Stone Age, and humans have always loved cherries. Cherries arrived in America in 1600s, and it was fairly new to America. There are around 1,000 varieties of cherries, but only around 20 are commercially harvested. Turkey produces around 535,000 tons of cherries annually and is the largest producer of the cherries. The record for the cherry pit spitting, which was 93 feet was set by Brian Prousin in 2004, the world record for cherry pitting. So this day is a celebration of happy accidents. It reminds us to not treat ourselves harshly if we make a mistake. After all, your mistake could be the next big invention of the culinary world. Cherry popsicles instantly take us back to our happy, carefree childhood days, and it is a perfect day to reminisce about the good of the days. A cherry popsicle tastes better when you are relaxing by the pool. Take the day off and don't forget to take it slow today. Today is also commemorated as National Day of Repentance in US. This day is celebrated through prayer ceremonies across the country and meant to be a day of Christian prayer because Papua New Guinea is predominantly Christian nation. The day is simply meant to be an informal day of prayer to ask for the Lord for the forgiveness of the wrong happenings in the Papua New Guinea. Today is also commemorated as National Dog Day in the US. As we are getting ready to celebrate all our furry friends in the best ways possible, and as they have been with the human beings more than 14,000 years old. So we thank goodness for that, because what would we do without man's best friend? It's time to pull out and take pictures of your pup and share your love for them with the world. It is established in 2004 by pet and family lifestyle advocate Colin Pegg. The aim of promoting this day is to raise awareness about adopting these animals, which are currently in rescue centers. In addition, on this day, promote dog ownership of all breeds, pure and mixed. Embrace National Dog Day as an opportunity for all dogs to live a safe, happy, and abuse-free life. Dogs are a man's best friend for a reason, so why not celebrate them? These furry friends range in all different shapes, sizes, and breeds. There is a dog out there for everyone. Whether you like big dogs or small dogs, every pup should be celebrated on National Dog Day. This holiday was created in 2004 by Colin Pegg, a pet and family lifestyle expert and animal advocate. She created this day so that all dogs can be celebrated, and also to draw attention to the number of dogs in shelters and to encourage adoption of these who have yet to find a place to call home. August 26th is significant to Colleen because it is the day her family adopted her Sheltie when she was 10 years old. Since the first celebration in 2004, National Dog Day has grown and it is now celebrated across the world. In 2013, the holiday was written into New York legislation and can be seen on the New York State Senate's website. To spread the word further, those that oversee the holiday have joined forces with many rescue partners, including the Humane Society of the United States and the West Coast Labrador Retriever Rescue. Together, they draw attention to the number of dogs that are without a home and try to actively encourage people searching for a dog to visit an adoption instead of a pet store. Since the first day back in 2004, it is estimated that approximately 1 million dogs have saved through adoption in the US. For dog owners that aren't looking to add to their family, National Dog Day has become a day for treating their friend like the legend. They are enjoying the connection that we are built up with dogs over thousands of years. Colleen Page, the founder of Holiday, also uses the dog to draw attention to the multiple ways in which dogs contribute towards our society, from putting their lives online to help law enforcement track down bombs or drug dealers to providing assistance for those in need, dogs play an important role. Nowadays, dogs can even identify cancer in patients. So National Dog Day has always been using its platform to encourage dog ownership of all breeds, including mixed and pure, and continuously pushes for all dogs to be allowed to live happily and abuse-free lives. It is an upward trajectory and continues to grow in popularity. It is widely covered in media each year, and rescue homes are all important exposure. They need to get their message across. Whether you choose to celebrate by volunteering at a rescue home, making a donation to the shelter, or giving your furry friend an extra big cuddle, make sure you spend this day acknowledging just how awesome dogs are. Today is also commemorated as National Spark the World Day in US. Its purpose is even more interesting and fulfilling. This day was created to appreciate the people who go the extra mile to inspire others and spark them up to greatness. Before your hopes get dashed, we are not just talking about professionals, just as motivational speakers who make their full-time job. Ordinary individuals like you and me and like anyone else and us can also be honorees of this special day. This holiday was created by speaker, author, and life coach Simon T. Bailey to encourage each of us to be a source of inspiration to others. Although a little obscure and unpopular, it is one of the most inspiring and fulfilling ones you may ever come across. It encourages us to look outside ourselves and focus on how we impact others' people's lives for better. So it's all about honoring those who proactively go out of their way to be a source of inspiration to others, thereby encouraging others to do the same. A common well-known example of such individuals can be seen in the lives of motivational speakers. These professionals make their lifelong mission to impact as many lives as they can through inspiring words and techniques. They provoke you to push the envelope, put your struggles aside, and reach for the stars. Motivational speakers have existed throughout history in various forms. You can find them in ancient history through religious, spiritual, and practical philosophies and texts. You can also find them in more modern times through the lives of monumental people in the history like Ralph Waldo Emerson and the founder of this holiday, Simon T. Bailey. Bailey is a speaker, author, life coach, and entrepreneur. He boasts of admirable career in hospitality and was a former sales director of the Disney Institute of the Walt Disney Company. He is also founder of the Brilliance Institute and Simon T. Bailey International. Although motivational speakers are the easiest point of reference for inspirational outreach, we can all be part of the movement by encouraging the people around us to reach for a better version of themselves every day. Bailey created this day to honor those who light a spark in others, encouraging us to follow in those footsteps. Motivational speakers are all around the world, are ranked for a range of traits based on popularity, both online and in person. Some of these attributes include impact, relatability, and a variety of others. As a result, sources typically employ personal judgment and other references to establish their ranking, which can vary between platforms. Having said that, although we cannot definitely bestow the title, the top 3 most popular motivational speakers are Tony Robbins, Les Brown, and Eric Thomas in no particular order. The 2 broadcasted categories of motivation are intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic comes from within ourselves and is usually stirred up when we accomplish milestones and goals, usually in developing new skills. We had previously and privately searched ourselves. Extrinsic motivation comes from outside ourselves and is stirred up by actions we perform for other people. admiration from others, or validation through other means like certifications, degrees, appreciations, awards. Workplace motivation is usually caused by incentive provision. Employees are encouraged to place reward schemes, recognition, personal and career development programs, and other incentives in place to motivate their employees to be more productive. Also, utilizing their skills and passions as opposed to enforcing obligations fosters motivation. Inspiring words ignite a person's heart like nothing else. If you don't know what to say, don't worry, because there is a wealth of inspirational stuff available online. Spread some light today by sharing some of these inspiring stuff on your social media platforms or directly with your friends and family. One great way to inspire individuals to do better is by saying a few kind words to get them through their day. It can be something as small as wishing them a good day, or as much as composing a sweet text to let them know that they are valued. Make sure you spread some kindness and light some sparks today. And you deserve to get fired up today too. The quickest way to do that is attending a motivational seminar or a webinar like this, or like on TEDx. And there are also a great way to gain content. You can use it to inspire others in your life. You reap what you sow. Seeing someone succeed at something you encourage them to do creates a great source of motivation for you. Intrinsic motivation comes from us achieving goals and milestones we set for ourselves, and it can be within us. Celebrating helps. Rejoicing in small wins gets us fired up and motivated to do more. When we feel inspired, it's a longer lasting effect that stirs up long-term passions and purpose. Surveys and findings prove that people who achieve things they were motivated to do always want to do more. So this day is one of the most selfless ones in the archives. National Spark the World Day is all about encouraging others to be a great, and we love all about that in the most. The main goal of this day is to inspire others to reach greater heights and to appreciate a little bit of inspiration every day, because it encourages us to keep going regardless of the odds attacked against us. And we love a good opportunity to inspire others too. And it's all about encouraging us to be the best versions of ourselves. We love this quality of day because it encourages us to push the envelope and best possible versions of ourselves. Today is also commemorated as National Toilet Paper in US. The essential item is used by most Americans, followed by other countries across the globe. One of the times we realize the importance of this often overlooked item, it is when we enter a public restroom and realize there is no toilet paper. Not long ago, toilet paper used to come in multiple colors. Now many more countries are using toilet paper along with the bidet. Before the advent of toilet paper from at least 79 AD until the fall of Roman Empire, the Romans cleaned themselves with a tersorium, a type of sponge, after relieving themselves. It was made of a sea sponge on a stick that could simply rinse it off and leave it for the next person. It wasn't until 1857 that the toilet paper began being sold in the United States of America. The first toilet paper was loose, flat sheets of paper. Then in 1930, the Germans invented the perforated rolls we have today, consisting of 1,000 small sheets that were separated by a perforation. In 1960s, toilet paper came in different colors, especially in pink and green, to match the bathroom's use. In early 2000s, colored toilet paper rolls started to exit the market, but they can still be found in some parts of the world. Americans love their toilet paper, though, and use it most out of any other country. Though this can be also attributed to the fact that some countries prefer using a bidet over toilet paper to clean it up. Toilet paper has been made its mark in several television series and movies. It is often used for decoration during Halloween or when people play a prank on others by covering houses or cars in it. The simple invention has a really strong footing in people's lives and likely to stay for years to come. But there are also certain challenges to prepare toilet paper. There is a lot of trees that are cut down that also leads to deforestation and also contribute to climate change. Instead, you can use other alternative ways, like using water which can be treated and reused, and various other ways. China begins to mass produce toilet paper in 14th century, and the first toilet paper is sold on a roll on August 26, 1871. Seth Wheeler patents roll toilet paper and toilet paper dispensers in 1883. Scott removes colored toilet paper from the US market, making it the last company to do so in 2004. So the United States of America is the largest country, or is the largest consumer, which uses the most amount of toilet paper in the world. The pioneers used different materials depending on the weather conditions of the country, social customs, status, etc. The most common amongst there were leaves, grass, corn cobs, fruit skins, seashells, stone, sand, and water. Some of the best alternatives for toilet paper are baby wipes, a bidet, napkins, and tissues, to name a few, or even using water. So toilet paper, believe it or not, but 75% of the world population doesn't use toilet paper. Interestingly, approximately 2/3 of the Americans prefer their toilet paper to roll off the roll from the top instead of the bottom. The short fibers in the toilet paper start disintegrating within seconds of becoming wet and designed to decompose soon. The US Army used toilet paper to camouflage its tanks during Operation Desert Storm. The US is the largest exporter of toilet paper in the world. There are a plethora of options to choose from when it comes to picking out toilet paper. The main types are standard, jumbo, jumbo junior. They even come in two colors, white and natural. You can choose any type that suits your needs the best and falls within your budget. A significant portion of Americans would choose toilet paper if they had to take one thing on a deserted island. It is found in almost all American homes and most parts of the world. It is an important requirement to maintain personal hygiene. We often take toilet paper for granted because it's so easily available. However, we realize its true significance when it's not there. We don't realize the role this unsung hero plays in our day-to-day lives in US. But thanks that 75% of the world don't use toilet paper and they do not rely on that. Today is also commemorated as National Web Mistress Day in US. It is the way of celebrating invisible heroes, or we can call as heroines, who make and develop your favorite websites. A web mistress is a woman, usually an engineer or a web developer or a web designer, who is responsible for designing, developing, marketing, or maintaining a website. In fact, a web mistress can be any woman who is involved in smooth functioning of anything that we see on the internet. This day also encourages STEM education among women and inspires young students to venture into fields that no one has dared to. It's a day to celebrate innovation, resilience, and gender equality. You must have heard a lot of talk about webmasters. Those clever men who work really hard to make the internet what it is, so much so that one would think that only men are responsible for smooth functioning of our favorite websites. National Webmasters Day reminds us that in our quest to praise only webmasters, we end up forgetting the contributors of women in the same field. And that's why we need to familiarize ourselves with what or who a webmistress is. A webmistress is a woman who develops and maintains websites and also may be involved in developing, marketing the website to the digital marketplace. Thus, the origin of the term webmistress is simply an extension of the webmaster. However, Kat Valentine made the term official when she purchased webmistress.com and started working under the title in 1995. Today, the website recognizes the contribution of the women in tech and encourages young women to pursue a career in the same. Since then, thousands of women across the world have adopted the title and identified themselves as webmistress in their organizations. National Webmasters Day stresses that this job title be given to legitimacy and that these companies across the world should adopt it as a position. The day also aims at removing the stigma associated with women in digital spaces and the workforce at large. So the next time you visit your favorite website, you might want to find out who is responsible for designing and maintaining it. And you will be surprised to find how many often is a webmistress. Today is also commemorated as Women's Equality Day in US. The right to vote, the cornerstone of democracy, belongs to all citizens, but this wasn't always the case. Until recently, most countries denied voting rights to half of their population, that is, women. To claim their voice, women began agitating for the right to vote in the early 19th century. In the US, decisions about who could vote were left up to the states. The 19th Amendment, ratified in 1920, ensures voting rights for everyone, regardless of the gender. Today, Women's Equality Day celebrates the achievers of women's rights, activists, and reminds us of the unique daily struggles that women face. To make sure women are not oppressed by anyone, we need to empower them with education and to support their education as they require funds that can help build a base for their strong future. The continuous struggle for women's participation and equality in all spheres of life and society is observed on Women's Equality Day on August 26 in US. It commemorates the passage of women's suffrage in the US and reminds us of the hurdles overcome by the heroic women who faced violence and discrimination to propel the women's movement forward. In the early 19th century, American women who generally couldn't inherit property and many half of the man's wages in any available jobs began organizing to demand political rights and representation. By the early 1900s, several countries, including Finland, New Zealand, and United Kingdom, has legalized voting for women as the movement continued to sweep across the world. In the US, the 19th Amendment of the Constitution was first introduced in 1878, but it failed to gain traction. It wasn't until women's involvement in the World War I effort made their contributions painfully obvious that women's suffrage finally gained enough support. Women's rights groups pointed out the hypocrisy of fighting for democracy in Europe while denying it to half of the American citizens at home. Because a constitutional amendment requires approval from 2/3 of the states, 36 of them had to ratify the 19th Amendment before its passage. The deciding vote in the Tennessee legislature came from the Harry T. Bunn, a young state representative whose mother's plea to support the amendment became a deciding factor in his vote, which he switched at the last minute. Women aren't done fighting for equal rights. Today, the wage gap between men and women still impacts women's economic power. and gender-based discrimination still plagues workplaces and business tractions. To remind us of the struggles of the past, present, and future, Congress designated August 26 as Women's Equality Day in 1971. Today is also commemorated as Mother Teresa's birthday. Mother Teresa, whose birth name was Agnes Gonska Bojakshu, was born on August 26, 1910. Her commitment to helping humanity is known and admired all around the world. As a Christian missionary, who has actively promoted charity services through Christian missionaries. She became a nun at the age of 18. From the young age, she made it her mission to aid those who need in the most. She has been awarded a Nobel Peace Prize for her exceptional help to the world. Today, we celebrate the anniversary of our birthday, and her demise was on September 5th, 1997 at the age of 87. The woman known as Mother Mary Teresa was born in 1910 in Skopje, North Macedonia. Her parents were Roman Catholics and she was raised as such. From a young age, Mother Teresa became fascinated by the stories of missionaries, helped those in need around the world. By age 12, she had already decided to dedicate her life to the Roman Catholic religion and to be a missionary. When she turned 18, she decided to become a nun, and Mother Teresa moved to Ireland. She joined the Sisters of Loreto at Loreto Abbey, and there she learned to speak English. In 1929, Mother Teresa traveled from Ireland to India to teach at a girls' school. It was 1946 when Mother Teresa's life would change forever. She took a train ride from Calcutta to Darjeeling, and on that ride, she received what she expressed as a call within a call. She found her life's purpose to help the disadvantaged people living in the slums of Calcutta. This led to her becoming one of the greatest missionaries of all time. In 1950, Mother Teresa founded a religious congregation. The Missionaries of Charity and members of congregation take a vow of chastity, poverty, and abstinence today. The Missionaries of Charity have over 5,000 nuns and volunteers helping in 133 countries around the world. The congregation offers homes for those dying with HIV, AIDS, leprosy, and tuberculosis. It also runs soup kitchens, schools for abandoned children, mobile clinics, and provides services to the communities. In 1979, Mother Teresa received the Nobel Prize for her work and services to the world. Mother Teresa died on September 5th, 1997 at the age of 87. In 2016, Pope Francis recognized Mother Teresa as a saint. This week is also commemorated and this month is also commemorated with various events. So tomorrow we will see about various monthly commemorations as we were quite busy with other celebrations and events happening. So from tomorrow onwards, we will look at the entire month commemorations. Like we have Gastroparesis Awareness Month, Happiness Month, which was already commemorated, Medical Alert Awareness Month, Sports Awareness Month, National Breastfeeding Month. This we already celebrated 1 week, International Breastfeeding Week. And we have National, Catfish Month, National Civility Month, National Eye Exam Month, National Goat Cheese Month. This also we have commemorated. And National Golf Month, National Hair Loss Awareness Month, National Immunization Awareness Month. And lot of commemorations are there like this. And, National Language Month. And, in another day or two, we are having this Telugu language day also. And similarly, we have English language day and various language days. And we have other month commemorations like National Panini Month, National Peach Month, National Sandwich Month, National Traffic Awareness Month, Psoriasis Awareness Month, Spinal Muscular Atrophy Awareness Month, Summer Sun Safety Month. Some of these which we have already commemorated. We will see which are left ones, and we'll be commemorating in coming days because we are coming to end of the month. So thank you everyone for joining us. We request everyone to kindly fill up the feedback form. Those who have not registered, we request everyone to register on a daily basis because every day it's a different event. Though all are part of this series, but every event has a registration form. So we request everyone to register yourself so that you become part of the event officially. Because it is only through the way of registration that you become part of the event officially. And by providing feedback, by attending and providing feedback and opting for the certificate, you officially become eligible for the certificate. So ensure that you are following instructions carefully. So that you are not only just benefited by the knowledge or the information that you are gaining by attending, but also you are entitled for the certificate. So all the certificates will be issued at once. And keep attending. You can download all the certificates from the website all at once. No need to worry about certificates every day. Whenever they are generated, they will be updated on the website. You can visit website and download. And as already we have informed, we will provide everyone an opportunity. We have given many times, even in spite of, not completing formalities, not following instructions. Also, we gave ample of opportunity, but it should not be taken for granted because we have limited resources, every one of us. In fact, if you don't have time for yourselves, don't expect others to spend time for you. So it is quite natural. So let's all together respect each other, value each other's time and resources, and follow the system. Most importantly is, we ourselves criticize the systems and other people, other organizations or institutions or even governments, that they do not have a proper system. They do not work as per the system. And we also keep criticizing people that they do not follow any rules or regulations, guidelines. But we are ourselves, we see many times we ourselves violate all these and start pointing at others. So as a responsible citizen, as a responsible stakeholder, it's our responsibility to first follow. Then as a good citizen, as a good Samaritan, we can raise other things. First of all, we do not follow the instructions carefully. And there is no point in blaming anyone or criticizing anyone. It's your fault. It's my fault if I do not follow instructions. There is no one else to be blamed for. There is no one else to be criticized for. Because at the end of the day, it is all about the records and the information. If you have followed instructions, there is a record for that. So take time. It will not take time. Just assume that another 1 or 2 minutes of this webinar time. Just before joining or after joining also, we are sharing daily registration link. And we are also sharing feedbacking. Once you join, even after joining, while listening, you can fill up the feedback registration form every day. And anyway, feedback is taken within the platform. So you can continue to fill the feedback form. And that job is done. No need to worry. So thank you, everyone. Keep joining us. Keep attending. And if you have any information, knowledge to be shared, feel free to join and keep sharing. You can also make presentations. So see you all tomorrow with the same link. Take care. Good night.